Hi everyone, it's Kate in my home studio, which is in my kitchen. My back is not doing really well so far, so what I can do, I can do. And I will try not to move too much. So this is what we're doing today. It's free flow line work. It's very good for relaxation, and it's something that shouldn't stress your hands or back or anything. It also gives a lot of, I believe, gives a lot of additional muscle exercise for your hands and for your fingers. But also it's something that you don't have really to think much about, and it shows where your colors are, where you're located, but in this form. So this is something I painted in 2018, but I was doing quite a bit of this technique before. So this is a little bit of progress on what I got there. And Major, do you want to get several close-ups?
Yeah, sure.
So it's definitely not ready yet, but something that I was working quite a bit on was the those ones. It's not completely ready too, but
yeah, look at that.
yeah, so that's going somewhere. And I'm going to use the brushes that are very long and thin. So I'll show the sizes and what they, on the brush it just says artist brush. Okay, try this side. Okay, so this says 3 zeros or 2 zeros. So I don't really know how, like, I don't really, oh, 1 0. So the longest one is the 1 0. So I'm thinking, which one should I choose for today? Maybe I'll get the 2 zeros. This one. Oh, here.
Looks good.
We'll see how it goes. Because there was a period of time I was working with just this kind of brushes. I was not using anything shorter. Okay. So what I can do, and my table is not perfect right now, and I'm trying my best. I couldn't get to it for several days to actually do something. Okay, so it's basically any color you want to start with. Could be any color because it's free flow, it's relaxation. I don't call it meditation, even though it is, but it doesn't have to be for everyone. We'll just go with line work, and I chose the paper for this one, but the brush needs to be a little bit wet, so it doesn't really...
Does that paper work with water?
It does.
Okay, that's good.
And it's a new brush, so with time the brush starts curving, so we need several movements to actually see what's going on. So if the paint seems to be too dry, just wet your brush a little bit more. So here's the movement, and it doesn't have to be very thin. It can be thicker, so you can load the brush better. Something like that.
Make little snakes.
Yeah, so if you see something going on the side, that's okay, because as the result, it's going to be covered, or necessary, or not necessary, or not covered but looking good, because you never know how it looks like when you're close to what you're getting.
Well, I really like the original. I mean, all the strokes seem to have a similar, like, length. I mean, not length, a similar stroke, I guess.
So if you see that it doesn't really listen to you, it's a new brush, and every brush adjusts a little bit. It curves a little bit and then straightens a little bit more for the person who is using it. So if you don't see it yet, it's not there yet.
But if you're using a brush that you use normally, then it's probably all good.
Well, the good thing that this brush, when it starts really listening to you, you know that it's something you can do really good artwork with it. But in the very beginning, it's a little bit naughty. But when you do free flow, it doesn't really matter. So this is basically something very relaxing. You don't have to think too hard on what you are doing.
Well, you're gonna cover up a lot of the lines anyway.
So let's see that image again later. I just cannot pick it up.
Okay. There we go. Do you want me to give it to you or just record it?
No, just look at it again. So in some cases we can paint first, put some color on it, and then start putting lines.
Very vibrant red color. You didn't use red in the original, I don't think.
No.
And we'll use pink. That's a pretty color.
So the base might look just red, but then with time you are getting so many colors that, well, if you see, the lines here are more accurate because I was doing it with a brush that was not as new as this one.
Yeah.
Okay, where did I put the brush now?
And you know, your back wasn't hurting. Well, I don't think it was. Maybe it was, actually.
Well, it looks like a mess, but I have no actual ability to clean anything right now.
Yeah, it's okay. We'll help you, me and Grandma.
Okay, so then I have a lot of red that I didn't use. So maybe, Mater, you can just put it here and start using up colors for something else.
I have to record.
Can you put the phone on something? And just
It won't
leave
look
here?
as good.
No? Okay.
Like if I actually want to have the picture clear and not weird angles, then yeah.
All right. Well, it sounds good. Okay. Blue usually doesn't mix directly with red. Don't like it. So I kind of start with
I think it works fine, but not when
yellow.
it's wet.
Yeah, so I separate the colors. I didn't really mix or blend them anyhow. So for this technique, they're just really separate.
Oh no. There we go. Oh, that's a lot of yellow. Just carefully go on top of it so it doesn't like mix accidentally.
So what I did was a very quick something comparably to what I was doing before. So you see the lines are not really...
Well, it's just an example, really. Like, I think it shows off well what you're trying to do, though.
Because what I was doing was taking hours and hours, and here I'm just trying to show it really quickly.
It looks big in the picture, so...
Yeah, because that one was a big canvas.
Yep. Well, that's probably why it took so long. Like, the lines are actually much bigger than what you're doing here. I love the colors. I know you didn't do this on purpose, but it looks like CMYK.
CMYK, what's
Cyan,
that?
magenta, yellow,
Oh,
and black,
okay.
You know.
Okay.
I've been doing graphic designing, and those are just the printer colors.
So this is what the brush does when it's a little bit more here. It curves easier. You see
Yeah.
the curves?
Oh, that looks
themselves?
nice.
So it gets to the point where it's easier to use.
Yeah. Very nice.
I ordered canvases, but they are not here yet.
Yeah, just like a lot of the things that we ordered, it takes forever to come.
Well, I ordered them. I thought they are coming today, but probably tomorrow.
That's weird. A lot of my stuff said it was supposed to come like next month, but it came today.
That's good. Well, they're giving the estimate for longest because it's the long time delivery what I was ordering. Okay, so that's yellow.
Well, there's no Amazon Prime because we were ordering from eBay.
The canvases I ordered are from Amazon.
Oh,
That's a pack of 10 canvas boards.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, so that's what I could do. So that's what I'm going to use for recording, but I got paper too. I got black paper as well. I got lots of different kinds of cards and canvas paper. So yeah, I got enough. It just some things are easier on the canvas. Okay, so usually my choice is purple, but I don't know if I can squeeze it out. And this paint is thicker, so let's see how that works. Cause
I didn't do glitter yet.
I usually don't use glitter on this.
Oh.
It's not glitter. It's
I don't know why I saw glitter. It's just sparkly.
No, it's acrylic paint, Crafter's Square.
I see.
So this paint is way thicker than this Dollarama variant.
And that's like a rich purple kind of color.
So in this case, the brush goes absolutely mad at you because it changed. Because this thickness and with a thin brush, it doesn't want to do this kind of work because it's usually for other kind of work. So you cannot do exact same thing as with this paint.
You still want to use it though because the color is nice?
I'm using it because I can just do different kind of brush strokes that work out with it.
Okay.
Don't have to. So it's the whole method is like one of the major things is you don't really focus on one thing. You can focus on anything. So you can focus on lines, you can focus on the brush, you can focus on color, you can focus on the white that is not covered yet to cover it.
Wow.
You see how different is brush stroke?
Yeah.
How thick it is comparably? And
That's because the paint's thick.
Splashy, yeah. So if someone wants to add a little bit of water, that might help, but that doesn't help on every single surface. So that depends on the surface you're using too. Okay. So it looks like a mess right now. Okay, it's time for the light blue. And okay, light blue is here. So basically you start with throwing colors in rather than doing anything accurate.
Well, yeah.
Or you can start from accurate right away. That depends on what you're doing with it.
Well, on the original you did a background, but this one you just left it white.
So the more colors you put on, the more interesting it becomes.
Well, yeah, of course. Rainbow is always nice. All colors of the rainbow.
And for the idea of not blending colors together, you need to wait in between. So every color dries completely. So they don't really blend anyhow.
Well, just look for the places that you think are dry and then just go over those.
Well, it doesn't really matter right now because I'm showing the technique, but if I want to do something like that, I would need to wait.
Yeah. Well, this. It's an example.
So you see the brush goes a bit different now too, because this paint is a thinner one. All right.
Well, there's a pretty big difference between Dollarama paint and paint you'd get at Michael's or paint you'd buy online. And it varies from brand.
Okay, I'd go with pink. And this is the cotton candy, but in my case, it doesn't matter which pink I choose. It can be, or it can be green as well.
Cotton candy.
Or I had another pink, but it's not here. Somewhere there. Okay, get this one. And Major, can you give me that little, the paper?
You mean the tissue?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, thanks. Just use it for the brush. Okay. So from here, I might want to decide if I want to leave the white space or I want to cover it. That could be a mixed media piece with markers that go in between the colors. Could choose different colors of marker. Or there could be another solution.
Pink, it's cotton candy.
It's definitely not what I was doing here. If you look at the line.
Oh, Claire, like you're going in spirals, I'd say, in this one, and on the original, you're mostly doing like, I don't know what you'd call that.
So each line was taking a long time here. So if I take this time to do every single line.
It looks way more accurate and precise, I'd say.
Definitely. So it's the time you take for each line.
Well, it really depends. The level of detail definitely matters on the time you take. It's not necessarily difficult, but very time consuming, and we're not gonna film for like 6 hours, you know?
Yeah, that would be impossible.
Well, it would be possible, but it would take a very long time. I mean, if we filmed for 6 hours, my arm would get pretty sore from holding the phone up.
So this is what I got for now, and that's definitely not everything I do. Yeah. This is something that is not ready yet. Like someone could call it ready and say, yeah, it's ready.
It's ready, yeah.
But for me, I usually go with more colors in between, because for me, just something that I could choose something else with. So I'm looking for, you know what, let's try. Okay, I had the colors already, so maybe I'll try some green.
No, colors you didn't do are green.
I usually try to
orange.
I try to not use tan in this case.
Why not?
I just don't like it in this
colorful, you know.
Yeah, it just does some kind of work that I don't want to do here.
Well, usually I do tan for buildings or skin color or something.
Well, it works out, like, somewhere, but not really.
That's not necessarily tan, it's more like a beige, I'd say.
Yeah.
I mean, they're pretty close, but...
So here I can just cover the spaces in between. And then on top, I could do more line work. That's one of the solutions.
Well, you can always add on. I mean, you gotta stop eventually. But, you know, you can...
And it doesn't have to be very exact and even. Like, at the end.
Well, of course not. That's...
Because it's more natural looking this way.
I mean, some people might want to go for an unnatural look.
Well, that depends on what you want to do. Well, I called it a relaxation piece. I was never calling it like a piece that wants to stress you out. Because I didn't mean that.
Well, you can just do whatever you want, whatever you feel like at the time. I think that's the whole point of a relaxation piece, is to do what you want.
Yeah, and it can take hours and hours of work at the end. Yeah. But you start with something and you have the base for doing something. So that's
I think I'd call almost all my art relaxation pieces.
Well, the thing is, not everyone would understand the issue when it's not, you know, like with patience. Not everyone has patience, and not everyone has a lot of time for art. Not everyone is able to come up with an idea, or what is usually most important, people have a lot of ideas and don't have time for them.
Yeah.
And feel like they're not ready for them yet.
That's me. Too many ideas.
So in this case, what you can do is to work out your muscles, because it's muscles too, definitely. It's your thinking, it's what you can do with it. And when your muscles are ready, it gives you like the idea what you can do, so you feel, oh, this piece, I'm ready for it. Like I feel I can do that.
And that sounds like a warm-up.
Well, it's not actually a warm-up, because you do something. And I don't want people to take it as a warm-up, because in this case, they would think differently about what they're doing. Right?
Yeah. Well, maybe if you're doing like sketches, I wouldn't really consider any kind of painting a warm-up for me, though.
Well, like some people undervalue works like this, and they're not supposed to be undervalued.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Because it looks like, oh, that's so simple, you do this, 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 and it's basically nothing to do, right? But how many people actually come to this stage with understanding on why? And
a lot of people like to explore different kinds of art. I mean, it's kind of the entire story of Picasso.
Well, every artist is someone who knew how to explore own abilities. So there is a point where artists think of how not to copy other artists, and what is a copy and what is an original piece. And in fact, This is a self-research too for a lot of artists before they actually can produce something of their own. No artist will actually produce anything without this research.
Yeah.
Basically.
There's always inspiration. It's not the same as copying.
Yeah, so there is a difference between inspiration, right, and copying. And it's definitely, well, one of the major details is that there should be no tension between people. Otherwise, it becomes a struggle. And we don't want struggle on paper. Because it usually shows minor things. And we can see that something is not right. But the main thing is when people communicate through art or any way, in any way available to people, it's visible with which intention someone wants to give you something, right? So when you come to a place where an artist teaches you something and shares some of own knowledge, it's usually well thought of before shared.
My arm hurts. I'm gonna put this on here.
Is it still the same video or it's...
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay.
Well, I think so. There we go.
So with time we see that some yellow is hidden, a lot of purple is hidden. So we can start adding on the colors from the bottom too. So we can add purple where it disappeared.
There we go.
And it's definitely not what I was doing there, because there I was doing simple line work and I did not want any influences of like in-betweens or anything, so it was just plain lines. Also there were black lines, so I could put them on top, but I want to avoid white for now because it's not really balanced, but black might work out already.
Maybe.
Let's see. Okay, the brush is quite ready. See, it works.
Oh, very nice.
So what I was doing in this case, here.
The black really pops.
It goes, so it's not...
Well, I think that's great because I think black is probably the most important color. Because it like really stands out. And I guess purple too. And maybe the green even. Not all the colors are super light here.
Okay.
Yeah, the line width looks a bit more varied now that the brush has had time to, like, I don't know what it's called, be used.
Well, it curves with time. Now it's straight. When it comes to a certain point, it starts curving. My brushes are usually curved, and it's easier to work with them for me.
Is it like that for other people?
I don't know. I usually don't look at brushes of someone else, so I don't know.
Well, maybe for some other people it would work.
It's hard to tell by brushes that are at Studio Central as an example because they're not used by the same person, right?
Yeah. I think it's starting to look more, I don't know how to say it, finished, I guess, now.
So for now, it's something like that. So basically, the idea is to not stop on the way. Actually, just move forward and cover more and more and more and more until everything's covered. Those in-betweens were not in the original idea I was developing. So it was the idea of, let's say, just covering it with lines completely, and the lines can come from different directions. So it just covered.
All right.
So you see, this variant was not there. So what I was doing was putting several lines so they would cover this little space. So now I just go, whenever I see the opened area, here, just go over it.
You don't want any white?
No.
Okay.
So you see, the idea is that this is going to be covered anyway, but I don't do this kind of work there in the center, and even on the side I was not doing that. Just covered. So do you have any ideas of what you could do with this?
Oh my god. Honestly, I'd just add a lot of colors. But there's already a lot of colors on there. I think I'd maybe just fill up the white spaces with like small bits of color. And then like keep going over and over again. Like, till the lines look a bit more refined, I guess.
Mm-hmm. So in my vision for then, I did not like doing that. And I was just going with a lot of lines. And here's this one would go inside. And I would put some other line to cover it.
I mean, even with this smaller paper, it's still taking a while, you know?
Yeah.
Like, it's not that simple.
And it's not ready yet, you see? So it doesn't look balanced yet. So there are some spaces that are left, the white spaces, and that's what I'm doing. I'm just keeping covering them with paint that I got.
Yep.
And that's it.
That's it.
That's it. So here I covered part of it with a purple line, part of it will be covered with a pink line, and part of it will be yellow line.
Well, you can go on for longer because this video just started.
And in between I can put something green and green here. So this is basically what's going on. So here, see, so one space I covered with several different lines going into different directions.
Yep.
All right, you want to try to add several lines?
I feel like I'm gonna mess it up.
No, you cannot mess it up. You cannot mess it up. Maximum you'll cover it with something else. Here.
Okay. Which brush should I use?
Use the same brush.
Okay.
Here. Just move it in your direction.
Well, put it so it actually shows.
Oh, look. Look who is there.
Hello, guys. Okay. I guess I'll do red, maybe. Okay. Oh, actually, I like this brush a lot. This is very nice. This is relaxing. I want to add more red.
And then on top, you can add as many things as you want, and it doesn't have to be here.
All right.
It doesn't have to be an image or something. You can print, you can add some detail. I'll go bring a painting that I wanted to show that is done with a similar technique.
Alrighty.
So I'll bring.
Okay, so. This is what it looks like when I add on.
Okay. So this one is called An Imperfect Storm.
Oh, there we go. Well, I don't think they're gonna see it.
Yeah, can you? So this one is called An Imperfect Storm. It's done in 2017.
Oh, there we go. So beautiful.
So you can just look at what I did here. So I have an image right here. Yeah. It's an image of a profile. A little bit of leaves. You see those leaves go up?
Yep.
And the leaves here and here. So basically those leaves are very important for several reasons I had when I was painting that. And you can see quite a bit in it, but you don't really need to think much because it's purely visual.
There we go.
Yeah, so it's 2017.
Wow. A while ago.
Alrighty, you want to go on with what you're doing?
I guess so.
Okay, let's see. I can go on that side and see how that records.
Okay. This is what it looks like so far.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. How do you put it even?
Like on these things.
Okay. It works.
Make sure that the...
What is the red dot? It just shows it's recording?
It's recording.
Oh, okay.
Is there... Okay. Make sure it's
like that. Yeah. Okay.
I don't know. I can't see it, but, you know.
Well, what is visible is the painting by itself.
Okay, good. I guess I'll add more black. Black. Where should I add it? It looks complete to me. So.
For me, it doesn't.
Well, I don't know what to add, honestly. Maybe green. I don't know. Maybe
I would think yellow.
Yellow. The yellow just
and
smudges,
blue.
kind of.
That's why I say it's easier to draw, to continue painting when it's completely dry. So maybe we'll wait.
I guess we could.
Yeah. So you know what we're going to do? We're going to wrap up the video now.
Yeah.
And then we're going to kind of add the photograph so Marissa can add it at the end of the video.
Yeah,
to show the result. Yeah?
Yeah, sure.
It works?
Yes.
Alrighty.
It works.
So how do I record? Okay, I'll record you.
Just click the button when you're done.
I don't know how to even it up.
Okay, whatever. It's fine. Thank you so much for watching the video. I hope you learned something today. And, you know, maybe you want to try painting it. And, yeah. Have a great... What day? What day is it?
It's Wednesday.
Okay.
But it will be shown on Friday.
Okay, happy Friday. Everyone's seeing this.